In the last episode, we start our discovery of the downtown area of Chicago by first entering the beautiful Lincoln Park in the northern part of the area. From this park, we crossed the famous Lakeshore Drive and enjoyed stunning views of downtown and ended up on the adjacent North Avenue beach. Following North Avenue Beach, we continued our southbound walk into the Gold Coast area and even ran into one of the most iconic structures of Chicago. After a few hours of walking, we finally arrived to Navy Pier, which has to be one of the most beautiful and impressive touristic piers in the nation. This pier is about 3/4 of a mile long and quite wide, and even at the beginning of the pier, we come across a suggested 1.5-mile walk around the pier. Completed in 1916, this pier was initially called Municipal Pier and was renamed Navy Pier in 1927 after playing a major role in World War I. Navy Pier went on to become a training center for the U.S. Navy during World War II and eventually evolved into this massive tourist trap you see today. In the first section of the pier, you have a pretty sizable food court as well as an interesting shopping center you might want to check out. And of course, this section has Chicago's popular Navy Pier Ferris wheel, which has to be one of the most famous in the world, being that it provides stunning close-up views of one of the largest skylines in the world. Around the spectacular Ferris wheel, you find other rides that you can also enjoy. This next section is mainly dedicated to cruises, but does have other components such as restaurants and even a theater. Here, you also run into the majestic tall ship Windy, which was modeled after a traditional Great Lakes trading ship. As beautiful as this view is, it was time to continue our walk towards the end of the pier. Finally arrived to the end of Navy Pier, where we run into the elegant and majestic Aeon Ballroom with its 80-foot domed ceilings. And not to mention the fantastic views of the lakefront and downtown. This structure was completed over 100 years ago during the construction of the pier and is a testament of the wealth and importance of Chicago throughout American history. As we start to lose daylight, it was time to start walking back and find our way to Chicago's fairly new and very beautiful Riverwalk. As I make it back to the beginning of the pier area, I run into a walkway that leads to the Riverwalk just a few blocks away. And along this walkway, we run into one of the newest architectural achievements of Chicago. At about 1,200 feet and completed in 2020, the St. Regis Chicago is the third tallest building in the city. Finally cross Chicago River, where you have the beginning of Chicago's famous Riverwalk. a riverwalk with a variety of restaurants and many other activities on land and on water. A riverwalk where the underpasses are arguably just as beautiful as the walk itself. A riverwalk that offers some of the most magical views in an urban setting. A riverwalk full of energy in the day and nighttime. And to top it all off, a riverwalk that contains a spectacular light show displayed on a high-rise for everyone to see that just might take you by surprise.